Hey there, I'm Alan Furstenberg.
And I'm Mark Tucker, and we are Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs. What a week. I don't know about you,
It
Mark, but I'm
was.
tired.
I'm tired too. It's been we're recording today on a Friday instead of a typical Thursday, and I'm definitely filling the week. But we had a very interesting Wednesday with the Alexa Live.
Yeah, no, we're both wearing our Alexa Live garb. And you have the AWS certified jacket on just to, really kick up.
Bring in the points, yeah.
Yeah. But beyond the swag, it was an interesting half day. I guess they called it a summit. It was really a bunch of presentations, though.
Right.
A lot of interesting stuff presented. Some of it very. What's the word I'm looking for? Very, very reminiscent of things I've heard before. Some of it very telling, but overall, a lot of good information that was in there.
Yeah. So if you didn't watch Alexa Live or you haven't seen it before, then it is specifically targeted to developers, and they covered a lot of different aspects. Some of the things were, things that are baked into Alexa. Other parts of it are talking about hardware. And then there was this whole other section that was talking specifically about things that developers could do. And that's kind of the point that we're going to focus on. So there's a couple of links that we're going to go ahead and include in the, along with this. One of them is the Here's Everything We Announced blog post. And that's going to talk about, things like Matter and the hardware support and kind of some of the higher, level big vision things.
Right. And I do have to say, Matter was a big part of this, of this show.
Definitely.
There was a whole track dedicated to it. It had its own keynote. It had a mention in the main keynote. So it was a big deal.
But what we're going to focus on today, and you can kind of just follow along because we're going to go from top to bottom through this, is a post called Skill Developer Announcements. And so we're just going to kind of go through there, talk about each point just really quickly. And you'll probably see a future Two Voice Devs podcast on some of these topics.
Right.
Some of them really, some of them are available now and they have the detail that we could dive in deeper. And other things are, kind of announcements that you can sign up for, but they're not quite ready yet.
Right. And all of them are brand new. So, I don't think we've really had too much of a chance to really go into all of them.
Right. And if you went to last year or attended last year's Alexa Live, the list of things is shorter than the list of things that were announced last year. But some of them are pretty significant things. So just because it's not as long of a list as last year doesn't mean that we don't have some important things to cover.
And last year also had a lot of, closed beta early announcement. And some of those things that we saw then as kind of the tease is now general availability. And that's kind of the big news here, right?
Yeah. And then there's some teases that came out for this one.
And that's good. So it's okay. So it's
good.
Let's dive in.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is under a section called Drive Business Growth, and it is the Skill Developer Accelerator Program.
SDAP. Yeah, this was, in a lot of ways, this was the big item that people have been looking for. And Jeff Blankenberg, this is the one that Jeff Blankenberg has been eager to tell us about and finally got to tell us about at Live.
And said it was his favorite part of the presentation for Alexa Live was on that topic. And so it's all about what can we do to increase users using skills, which kind of talks about, well, how can we increase the quality of skills and how can we get more of the revenue share back to developers to take advantage of the different things that are available, financially for creating these things.
Now specifically SDAP, the stuff covered by SDAP kind of was previously if you had in-skill purchases and basically anything where you were charging for something around your skill. Amazon took a cut, and the standard cut used to be they'd take 30%, you'd get 70%, right? That's
correct.
Traditional. And I think last year they had announced that was going to be 80-20.
Correct.
And what's the big news this year?
Well, the big news is that for the rest of this year, that it goes up to 90/10. And this will be paid out in cash, just like the rest of the program is. Now, going into future years, like next year and going forward, there's going to be more of a promotional credits. That last 10% is going to be more of a promotional credit. So I think it goes back to 80/20, but then you get these promotional credits, or at least that's kind of what it seems like that they're talking about on this. And so promotional credits. Well, what are promotional credits? Well, on the Echo Show, smart
and
displays,
that goes into the next big announcement.
Yeah, promoted skills. And so what are promoted skills? Promoted skills are like advertisements for your skill. And so if you have an Echo Show device, you'll see things throughout the day, just kind of scrolling through on your screen. That could be like right now, I've got a video, and then now it's just showing me the time and the weather, and then it's going to maybe have some news story. So in that list of things that show are going to start appearing promotions for your skill. So it's something that you're supposed to be able to put together in just 5 minutes, upload some text and some images, pay your money, and I guess fill out whatever it is as far as what you're looking for, the target audience for advertising, and then it'll just start showing up. Yeah.
And it sounds like these are going to be just regular promotion, advertising promotions like we've been used to on the web or on mobile, and now they're bringing it to Echo Show devices.
Yeah, so it's just going to be visual only. There's no audio announcement that catches your attention, but you can tap the promotion and it will start up your skill.
So that's going to be interesting. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
The next item I know is one that I've heard a lot of people express a lot of interest in, and that's what they're calling the Alexa Routines Kit. So what is?
Do you have do you want to give a summary of that, or
so as I understand it, there's already a way that you can kind of create routines and let people load those routines. You've got a way to get them to install those routines that are I always think of routines as kind of shortcuts to skills, or sometimes aliases to skills. So it creates other names that your skill can be invoked by and possibly deep link into them. This sounds like it goes a couple of steps further. So previously, for example, you had a URL that you could share that would do it. And now it sounds like you're going to be able to offer to the user, not you can't force it on them, but you'll be able to offer to the user a way to have one of these routines available inside the skill itself. So
exactly.
At some point your skill can say, hey, would you like a shortcut to do that task that you just did?
Yeah.
Yes, it will do something.
Exactly. And so, the original way to create routines was go to the Alexa app, and you can go through and give it a name, select what your trigger was and what the action was going to be. And one of the actions is starting up a skill. Another one is starting up a task link, which is a way of starting up a skill and deep linking into a specific intent. So those are the two options that are available, and you can create those yourselves, but that's kind of hard. It's kind of maybe a little bit of a power user move to do that. So then the next option was, well, somebody else could create these routines and provide a link. And if me as a user were to click on that link, then the routine would be automatically added to my list of routines, and I could go in and edit it or however I wanted to, but it would be there. And now this one is the, somebody else like the skill developer could create this routine kind of structure, but then offer that via voice confirmation. And once confirmed, then all of a sudden that routine will show up on your phone as a created routine, and you could go in your list and see the routine.
Manipulate it and edit it however you want. Yep. Yeah. So I know there are people interested in seeing exactly how that's going to work, and that's currently in closed beta, correct?
Yeah, it's a sign up to be considered for participation.
Yes. Okay.
So yep.
So developer preview.
Yeah,
is the term they decided to use for that one.
Okay. Next thing is voice forward account linking. I'm kind of excited about this. I've been on doing some projects where I've had to do account linking, and the way account linking works is that you need the Alexa app, and you start, well, you can start from like the skill page, and you say, I want an account link, and then you get taken to a login page, which is the login page for, it could be like Domino's Pizza, and then you do your, fill out the information, and then you get a confirmation that account's been linked. And then after that point, you can put your phone away and you can just use the skill, and automatically behind the scenes, it will log you into your Domino's account, and you'll be good to go. So there's also like another variation of account link has been app to app account linking, where you actually start from like your Domino's app, and then that links back in accounts. So now last year they announced voice forward account linking, but it was limited to login with Amazon. So you had to log in with your Amazon account, but you could then in your skill, instead of them sending you someplace else during the account linking, it says, hey, would you like to be linked? And now that list is open to custom OAuth providers. So now you could go to, I'm assuming like Domino's had an OAuth 2 provider, you could do voice forward account linking. And my understanding is that it sends you a confirmation code on your phone, and then you have to speak that back.
Yeah, so you still have to pick up your phone.
It's a big win not to go in. Yeah, not to go into the Alexa app is a big win, actually.
It's a little faster. They said it reduces it from 11 steps down to 5 steps. And honestly, the demonstration still made it seem pretty slow. It was not as smooth as I feel like it was when Google had this feature. The Google version seemed a little bit less friction.
Yeah.
Even when you had to go to the phone, it felt a little bit less friction. So I am thrilled to see this. I still feel like there's more that they could do to make this a better experience.
Yeah. So I'll be interested, but this is huge. This would be, because anything that you can do, there is a drop off. If somebody is using a skill, and maybe some of the features in your skill are for free, and you can do like anonymously without account linking, then somebody might start using that. But then once you hit a point where you need to be logged in, then there would be a drop, and because it just starts to get too complicated to do that. So anything that you can do to make that speed bump smaller or to remove it is awesome.
Dropping 6 steps is huge. It is a big deal.
Yeah.
The next one is one that I know a lot of people have been interested in. It sounds like it's not so much one feature as a whole bunch of stuff that are now, we've seen a little bit of over time, and they're now kind of being grouped together, and that's the Alexa shopping kit.
Yeah, so the shopping kit's kind of like this grouping of these different things together. And one of the things that it includes is what they're called shopping actions. So what you can do is a subset of list of things that you can purchase on Amazon. There's some restrictions. I think it's just going to be those items that you can just quickly order and not have to specify a color or a size or anything. Then you just take that ASIN number that Amazon uniquely identifies each product with in their store, and you can offer that up in your skill. And you can either do add to cart or buy. And so add to cart is just like you say. So you can, like, hey, I'm so glad that you love my meditation skill. Have you ever thought about doing yoga? And here's a great yoga mat that we would recommend. And if somebody clicks on to purchase the yoga mat inside the skill, then you're still inside the skill purchase experience. You get information details on that yoga mat or whatever it is, and you purchase it, or you can just add it to the cart, or you can purchase it depending on which action you do. Now,
this is what Dana likes to call the gift shop skills, or the gift shop feature.
I think that's a pretty good coining of the term. I like that.
I think so. And I think it does open up the opportunity for skills who aren't necessarily sales focused skills. You can easily picture a game, for example, will be selling you the game swag. just because they've now added these as items to their Amazon store at Amazon.com, and now they can sell it to you directly through the skill. So
Yep.
that seems kind of cool. I can, I can see developers and, getting clever with this and saying, okay, we're not going to let you order the hat until you've earned the hat badge.
Oh, that's clever. Yeah, I like that.
And you still have to buy the hat, but we're not even going to let you buy it until you've played the game for 20 hours or whatever.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I'm not sure if you can control like a discount.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought too.
If it's your stuff. But so one thing I guess I want to make sure is, because we're talking about selling your own things through your skill, which you can do, but you can sell other people's things as well. And so it's just, there's no limitation on what ASIN per se that you use, who owns it or what it is. I think there's, I don't know, there's probably not every provider of things. Maybe it's only those things that are prime, or I don't know exactly. We'll have to take a look at, figure out what all the details are, what the exclusions are, and kind of what the list, how you figure out if something is purchasable through a skill or not. But
it definitely opens up a whole host of new options. And speaking of discounts, that goes to the next feature that they announced, which, okay, I'm not sure I understand what an Alexa skill deal is supposed to be.
All right, I can take that one. So
okay,
your options inside of monetization for an Alexa skill is you can do paid skills now. So you can do like a buy once and then use it.
Right.
You can do in-skill purchasing, which would be a subscription or a one-time or a consumable.
Okay.
So all of those things are things that you can buy. They're virtual things that you can buy. Now you can apply a skill deal yourself. So you can say, oh, during the holiday season, I'm going to give a 20% discount on this virtual good.
Okay.
And me as a developer can specify that just inside the developer console. And when does this deal start and end, and how much is the deal for?
Okay, fine. I'm not going to dismiss it, because I'm always, I like discounts, but okay.
Yeah, the other option would be if you would have to have gone in and officially changed the price of these items, and then change it back.
Fine. Okay.
Ellen's wouldn't be using this very much.
It's not that I wouldn't be using it very much. It's that it feels like it's a bit of a stretch to call this a major feature. That's all I'm saying. Is it bad? No. Is it a feature? Okay, fine. It's a feature.
I don't know. Some people might.
Fine.
I see.
Anyway,
I see what you're saying.
I think I've spent too much time on this already. Anyway,
I'm making you talking about it longer than you really want to talk about.
Anyway, so okay. So that's it for the section that they called driving business growth. And I'm kind of glad in some ways that they put that first, because that's certainly been where developers have been pushing for a lot is, new toys are nice, show me the money. Let's be honest here. But there are also some new toys. And that they grouped under develop high quality customer experiences. So what kind of high quality ambient experiences, as they put it?
And I'll just kind of go through the list. So these are just different things that you could use during development, as you're testing out different portions of your skill, or different tooling that's going to help you as a developer. And so the first one is Dialogue Testing Tool API. So it's a way of being able to string together multi-turn dialogues and then kind of create tests. They wouldn't be unit tests. I guess they would kind of be like end-to-end tests, but for just portions of your conversation flow. So that's what that seems like that one is. The A/B testing tool has already been out for a little bit, but the idea is that you can have your skill behave differently for X% of the users, and then you can kind of see how it performs differently. And then you can decide, oh, I think B is the better option for this. And so I'm going to go ahead and implement B everywhere. So that's kind of what that one is.
Okay.
Alexa
the next one's
Yeah.
a big one, I think.
Yeah, and I haven't jumped other than like what was in the keynote. I didn't catch any of the other breakout on this particular. But the idea is that they're going to do more tighter integration for Alexa for apps, because what you've been able to do up to this point on pretty much on any of the platforms is do some sort of a shortcut or a deep link into when you're using your voice, it's going to take you into a certain portion of your mobile app. So that's but this makes it kind of bigger. I don't know, what was your impression from what they showed?
My take on, and this is the Alexa for Apps SDK, and it's not available yet. You can only you still need to fill out a developer interest form to get access. My take on this is that this is huge, because this is basically, once you're in an app, you can now talk with Alexa and it will take you to various parts of the app. So you're using Alexa as your conversational navigation, and it is sending results and navigation information to the app. So this is navigating through the app with your voice and searching in the app with your voice. And it's not just, launch it and you get to a screen, which is what app actions are. But it's also, once you're at that screen, you can keep the conversation going. That is big.
and the kind of the dig in the announcement here was that it's not just one way shortcut. So I can't remember. Yeah,
one way deep linking is how they put it. And
it's more than just one way deep. It's bi-directional or something like that. So that's kind of, and what this reminds me of is there's a provider out in the voice space called Speechly, and they are talking about like interactive websites, and you can be on this website and you can order and filter and use it. And it seems like that type of an interaction, but for mobile applications.
Almost. Speechly does work on mobile. We really should cover Speechly in more depth at some point, or get someone from Speechly on. But Speechly's really neat feature is that it's both the Google Assistant and Alexa, even Alexa with Alexa for Apps, is still a back and forth. It's a turn-based conversation. Speechly has much more dynamic inputs. So you can be saying things like, yeah, I'd like to look at some red shoes. No, maybe I'll make that blue. Yeah, and if you can get them in a size large. And as you're saying it, the inventory can be changing. You're filling out fields in a form dynamically, and you can do it very fluidly. So Speechly is another notch past what even Alexa for Apps is offering, but I think Alexa for Apps is more of a step in that direction.
Yeah, I think that's the closest thing that it reminded me of anything that I've seen when it comes to the big players and their voice integration.
I mean, I think the way I think of this a little is that it is, I mean, it's like the conversations that we have now with our skills. Just instead of showing you an APL response, it's triggering something in your app and sending back the data for it.
And it's not just a page change; it could be a data change or something.
Exactly. And again, I haven't played with it. I'm only guessing here, but that's kind of where I think they're going with it. Is just treating your app like an APL display, and you render that information somehow.
Yeah, and it seems like part of the SDK would be like the widget that would be in that you could just plug into your mobile app, and so you're just really wiring up hooks for different events and being able to react to those inside your application.
Yep. It's going to be interesting. We are definitely going to be looking at Alexa for apps a lot more as we get more information on it. I'm going to be curious, not just to compare it to App Actions, but see if the two of them can play together side by side and what exactly that means.
Yeah.
So I think there's some interesting things down the road there.
Cool.
But what else do we have to develop high quality customer experiences?
That's the next on the list is updates to the food skill APIs. So this kind of falls into a grouping of different things where they were really pushing this idea of Alexa conversations and this kind of conversational components type thing, where these are a series of intents that are already built out specifically for food ordering. And then they're even talking about, I don't know if this one is the one where it also had some accompanying APL integration, so that when you say something, then it shows up specific APL screens. And so it's trying to package kind of these things together, making it easier for developers to build these types of skills.
I think it's included in that, but I think that is actually a separate announcement, which they list at the bottom of this section, but I think it's much more important than that. And that's what they're calling skill components.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a big deal.
I think it is. And this will be the interesting thing. I've been, kind of dragging my feet with Alexa Conversations, but if Alexa Conversations is going to be paired with skill components, and obviously if you're focusing on just doing Alexa development and they're giving you a big portion that's going to make your jobs easier, then why wouldn't you use it?
Right. I mean, the skill components really sounds like they're giving you the audio equivalent of a widget.
Yeah.
And all you need to do is plug in parameters and stick it in your conversation, and it now does stuff, and it shows stuff on the screen because it comes with APL widget equivalents. So that's still in developer preview. I think that's going to be huge. I think that is really one of the biggest things coming down the road for developers.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's been challenging in the past to do Alexa Conversations. It just hasn't really been easy.
It doesn't look like it gets any easier, I'll be honest. I mean,
yeah. So I'll be looking on how they do that, because if this is packaging these other things together might be enough to kind of nudge people into, hitting that learning curve, but pairing it with even easier ways to define these dialogue flows. And sometimes it's been hard because Alexa Conversations has been kind of this black box that you just hand off things in it, and its job is kind of like this dialogue management, where it's going to like pick all the different things that you need to do this one action, which is like, and so, but then putting that into a skill that does more than just that one thing, you've got these other intents, and so then do you have this hybrid skill that does conversations for some things and just normal intent-based things for something else, and so it just kind of gets all confusing on how to put together a whole experience.
And I'm hoping this makes it a little bit more straightforward, and that you can just pick and choose just the components that you need.
Yeah.
Similar to that, though, is they also announced Alexa presentation language for audio templates, or APLA templates.
And I looked at that, and it looked like there were only 4 templates, and I'm not sure exactly. It was kind of more of like, do you want to play audio, merged together? Do you want to play audio one right after the other? It seemed like it was a start. I don't know without diving into it deeper. I haven't really done a lot with APLA either. Because it's sometimes it's challenging too, because it's like I'm typically it's just been easy, especially if I'm doing cross-platform development, to say this is the text to speech that's coming back.
Right.
But now to say I'm going to do that text to speech in a different way with APLA, or it's just been a little confusing to do that. So I'll have to dive into that one a little bit more to see
And
how that works.
and I also wonder how related that is to the next item, which is the multimodal response builder.
Nothing at all, because that is the it's just for APL. So what that seems like to me is that APL, Alexa Presentation Language, can be daunting for beginners. And the thing that existed before APL was display templates. And display templates were, here are these 7, I think, different JSON data structures. You put values in these JSON data structures, and this is the screen that you get. This will show up. So this is a visual editor which tries to simplify kind of your first crack at creating a screen.
Okay.
And so you're just going to fill in text at the different places throughout the screen, and in the end, you're going to get your APL document. And I think it creates data based on the values that you fill in, but that's kind of like at the end of the step. Now, what if you want to do data binding and other things?
Right,
then at
yeah.
that point in time, then you're going to have to still go into the standard editor that they give you, or load that into APL Ninja and do kind of the heavy duty things. But the idea is like, can we get people past this initial start, which because there is definitely a learning curve to APL.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting that I thought in the technical presentation they did of this, they kept referencing APL Ninja.
I didn't see that. See, I have to go back and watch that one, because I did hear that there was some shout out there.
Yeah, there was more than a shout out. They were in the slides. They were showing, and here's where you bring it in from APL Ninja. So there was definitely an acknowledgement that APL, that the community tool is currently the leader in doing this.
Yeah, Alexander Martin is just awesome. He's a one-man
there were quotes
APL
from Alexander.
machine.
Yeah, there were quotes from Alexander in it about this feature. So they knew the right person to talk to work on this.
So yeah, when I have problems with APL, I go to Alexander and ask him to help me get unstuck.
Okay, so what else?
So skill quality coach. It's kind of interesting. This is listed separately under this portion, but it kind of seemed like it was quasi associated with the first thing that we talked about, was the developer program, because I guess in the way that they're encouraging people to have better quality skills. And in order to do that, then you need you need a coach to help you figure it out. So the key part of the skill quality coach is that automatically behind the scenes, your skill is being evaluated for lots of different data points, as far as like, this is the category, and this is the things that are implemented, and this is how your skills behaving compared to other skills that are, doing better. And it gives you a score between 0 and 5 on how well your skill is as far as skill quality. The idea being is that if you're a 2, then you want to improve that to a 3. If it's in the 3, you want to get that up to a 4 or 5. Kind of some hints that there might be some future promotional advantage to you if you're in that 4 or 5 range.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's at least that's kind of how I check it.
And it gives you recommendations about.
It does, and so it gives you, not only what your score is, and I looked at mine because it's available today in the US. So you just go into your analytics dashboard that you already have for a skill. Top left-hand side, right after summary, is this coach. It will show you your different bands, and then underneath that chart, it's going to give you some recommendations on some things that you can check to do. And it's kind of like, and skills that do this, see a 20% increase in, but yeah. So it's going to try to give you some advice on what to do to make your skill better. We're going to go over this in detail in a different 2 voice steps, because there's a lot of detail that we can go into and figure out what does it mean and how good is it today. And but you can, if you've got skills that are already published and going, Mine, they started analyzing actually the middle of June. And it's that score can change over time, even without you doing anything to your skill. So I don't know, maybe if it's being used more, it kind of gets more accurate information. And so but
okay,
it's not like just a one-time check and here's your score. It's continually analyzing your skill.
It's a continuous evaluation. Interesting. Okay, so we'll definitely need to look at that one more. They also published an APL accessibility guide, which good.
And the best practices guide. So this kind of goes into let's better inform developers and designers on how to,
And I guess I kind of see those along with the next batch. And it's interesting they list those as part of the develop high quality experiences, because I kind of see them more as part of the next batch, which was what they referred to as go to market faster. I'm not sure about go to market faster, but okay. And this mostly sounds like it's documentation.
Yeah, it seems like things to help the developers learn and grow and do things faster. So there are some improvements to developer.amazon.com that's happening, have happened, are happening. So there's going to be continuing changes that we'll see there. The Alexa Learning Lab is some resources that will help you, get the chops that you need to create good Alexa skills.
And I think the interesting part of that is that it also includes kind of like a real-time play with this code thing. Here's how you do this, and here's what it looks like. And if you go play with the code, you see how that changes.
Yeah, and so the code sandbox is that, and it's basically, I don't know, what I saw it as like, it's a very, very, very slimmed down APL Ninja right there in the documentation, where you can enter some values and you can see off to the right hand side what your APL screen would look like. But it would be great for learning, because this is just, you're right there on the page. You don't have to create an account anywhere. You're just, I'm trying to learn about APL, and here's an example. What if I tweak this example? Oh, this is what it does. And then, so it's just, you're like hands-on, you're just going in, doing that. So that's great. The last part that's in this section, it's listed as unified DX across Alexa conversations and interaction model.
Yeah,
and
I just read that paragraph and I have no idea what it means.
So there is a way that you have to define, well, part of Alexa conversations is that it's supposed to be easier for developers, because you don't have to come up with all the different iterations of different utterances that will lead you to something. Or let's say that you have an intent that has 5 slots to fill. Maybe you're booking a car reservation or something like that. And so there's the asking for the start date, asking for the end date, asking for the start city, asking for the car type, asking for the, whatever else. Me as a user to that, I could supply none of those. I could supply one of them. I could supply more than one. I could supply them in different orders. And then how do I figure out like what's the next prompt that I need to get to fill the next slot?
And this has been
and how to ask it. And so there's a format for doing that and defining those. And this seems like maybe they're trying to go to that effort of, that's part of one of the things that is the learning curve to learning conversations. So I think they're trying to attack make this easier for people to use Alexa conversations.
Okay, now they did demonstrate a little bit what sounded like some new features to Alexa conversations. And right now it seems really complicated, and it seems really complicated, and it's not entirely clear to me that they're making that any easier, except by saying we're making more documentation for it.
Yeah. Well, and the part that's interesting to me that I need to check out was this interaction model, because conversations has kind of been, like I said, this black box where you're like, I need to have, the action that I need to perform is to reserve a car.
Right.
And these are the slots that I need to be filled.
And in some ways, that's fine.
And here's a few samples, and it's going to go out and build all these other utterances that would help. So I don't have to create those. And that's the part that's supposed to be easier for me, but I still have to define the thing so that it can go and generate the other, iterations of different things. But before, and I could be wrong on this, but the fact that they're bringing up interaction model makes me think that it's that situation where you've got both something that's handled by conversations and something that's typically handled by a normal intent interaction model. And in the past, you could have a whole conversations app, but in a lot of cases, you could have a custom skill that part of it would be the interaction model stuff that you would typically do for a custom skill, and part of it would hand off to conversations to hand off to the rest of the thing. And so now you kind of have this hybrid skill where parts conversation and parts not. If they could move the definition of those interaction model stuff into conversations, then maybe conversations can be the whole thing. That's kind of what I'm thinking in the back of my head. We'll have to check that out and see if that.
Yeah, and it's something that's not available yet. So it just says, stay tuned to find out when this experience becomes available. So I'm very much looking forward to learning more about it, how exactly conversations work. And hopefully we will get John on, who is the conversation expert, to chat about some of these. So
that would be great to get some more details from somebody that's been in the trenches and have done it.
Yeah. So an interesting set of stuff. Let me just toss this one out to you quickly. What's the one thing that you're most interested in from this list?
Oh,
and I know it's tough to pick one, but
I know. I think the skill coach is early. I'm not necessarily the recommendations that I've gotten so far haven't necessarily been things that have been actionable. Like one of them was use A/B testing to test changes to your skill. I'm like, well, what I really want you to do is tell me what thing I should change in my skill or add to my skill to increase the skill quality of it. So
where is the drop off? Where are users having issues? Yeah. Where are they? Yeah.
If my skill's a 2.7, how do I get to a 3.5? I want to move up to that band. I'm not happy being down in the, in the middle of it. So what do I do? So that's the thing I'm most excited about, is something that's actually going to kind of start telling me what things incrementally I can start doing to improve my skills over time.
Okay. I'm most interested in exactly what Alexa for apps will look like.
Yes, that would be good.
So that's the one that I'm most interested in seeing exactly how it fleshes out. And I'm very interested in seeing how conversations, and okay, that was two. Okay. Anyway.
Well, I'm adding add to cart buy. Because okay. I'm going to do a gift shop skill at some point, or add something to a game. Yeah, I have toyed around and I have no idea how hard this would be, but number spies came and went as far as Alexa skills. In some ways it was too complicated, but I still like this idea of being able to solve like broadcasts from number stations, like do spy decrypting of messages. And so what if there was a workbook that you could purchase? And so inside my skill, maybe there's like a daily challenge or something. And then you could purchase the workbook and you could go through and, use that as the kind of your, interaction that you do. So I don't know how, it would be like, how do I create a product, a book product? How do I get that added to Amazon? I don't know. That would be like a whole learning experience.
It's a lot of other questions, but now you've got a venue to try that out.
Yeah, I do.
So a lot of interesting stuff. There was one other announcement, which I think developers will be really interested in, which wasn't covered here. And that is that one of the things that they demonstrated was their commitment to what they called the 55 and over crowd.
Yep.
And for those of you who have been around Voice Lunch and some of the other voice communities, you will have certainly met Heidi Culbertson, who has been very, very active in.
And she's a good friend.
Good friend of both of ours. So apparently this was her motivation that her group will be running a hackathon, remote hackathon, or a contest, depending on how you want to do it, with actual cash prizes for creating a skill aimed at the over 55 crowd.
Now some people would think, oh, 55 over 55, that's well, this is like people that are living alone. How do we, get them engaged, or, keeping them from, cognitive decline, or assisted care homes? But it's very much also the active adult 55
Yes.
plus group. So it could be those that are playing tennis. It could be those that are doing, different things. So, don't necessarily limit your thought. If you have an idea and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't apply to, grandma or great grandma, it might, your idea still might be applicable, but is it like $45,000 worth of total prizes that
total prize? The total prize pool is 45,000. It sounds like there's going to be multiple categories, but we don't know the breakdown yet. We don't know too many details. Those are going to be announced soon. We don't know how soon, but soon.
But as soon as it is, we will tell you about it on Two Voice Devs and on social media and wherever else. But so start thinking now about what you could do, and definitely jump in quickly and get going on your ideas. And we would love to see what you got going on.
I'm really curious to hear what people think of, any of the features that we've talked about, what people are most excited about themselves. As always, you can reach out to us on social media, on Twitter, LinkedIn. I have office hours every Wednesday. You're always welcome to jump in and either ask questions or give opinions. We're usually at Voice Lunch as well, or in the comments below.
Sounds great. This has been a great conversation. Thanks, Alan, for going through the Alexa Live list with us today and figuring out how that applies to developers.
No, and thanks for starting to look at some of these. And I'm sure I'll be looking to you to find out, as more and more of it comes out, exactly how these things fit in. So
we will catch you on another episode of Two Voice Devs.
Two Voice Devs. Have a great week, Mark.
You too. Take care.